Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with the top 5 activities for Gear Geeks. And if you have very little or no hair on your right arm, you might be a gear geek. And certainly that is something that people have noticed about me. And in fact, a number of people have noticed that and said, is that where you make sure your knives are sharp? Yes, it is. So I want to go ahead and share with you some things that people who are into gear seem to do that maybe is a little different than the rest of the population. I would love to hear some of your stories below about some things that you regularly do that probably your neighbors and friends aren't getting up to as often as you are. So let's go ahead with the top 5 activities for Gear Geeks. Number 1. Going outdoors and spending time in the great outdoors, which I think is awesome, and I would encourage anyone to do it. However, if you're really into gear like I am, you probably do it with a bit of a twist. And the twist is you have to carry 2 or 3 or 5 of everything that you could think of. You know, if I'm going on a 2-hour hike into the woods, I'm probably going to have, you know, a folder, maybe 2 folders, a fixed blade, maybe 2 fixed blades, a hatchet, some paracord, a flashlight, a multi-tool, maybe 2 multi-tools, some way to start fire, maybe 2 or 3 ways to start fire, water purification. So in other words, way more stuff than I could possibly need on a 2-hour hike. You wouldn't really need anything. You could go just with a pair of shorts and a t-shirt on and be totally fine. But if you're into gear, that's just not acceptable. You've got to, this is an opportunity to put into practice some of this stuff that you've been collecting. And so going into the outdoors is a great hobby for Gear Geeks, or a great pastime for Gear Geeks, but we do it with a little bit of pizzazz, let's say. Second is picking out clothing in the morning that is not based on where you're going or what you're doing, not based on fashion by any stretch of the imagination, but totally based on what you want to carry. I've got a few pairs of jeans that just don't have a deep enough pocket for some of the larger folders, like a pair of 2 or something like that. I've got some pants that don't fit an EDC flashlight very well. And you know, if you're into gear, that's just not going to work. So today and many days, I'm wearing 511s because they've got lots of space, they've got lots of pockets, they've got lots of places for my gear to go. And often I'm pairing that with a tactical belt as well, so that I can clip stuff onto my belt and carry even a little bit more. So picking out our clothing based on what we're carrying rather than based on how it's going to look or what we're doing that day or anything else, that's got to be an activity that only Gear Geeks are going to be worrying about. Now, next up is going to be cutting on everything. Okay, this is just a piece of 2x2 that was around the office, and I've used it quite a bit for testing. You know, if you go in my backyard, you will find a bunch of stumps and logs and branches that are all cut to smithereens because I felt like I just needed to go out and do some testing. Probably, or in fact, absolutely unnecessary, okay? In fact, even on a recent camping trip, you know, I went ahead once everything was kind of set up and I thought, let's do some batoning, let's do some chopping, let's do some testing. And so firewood all over the place, cut down to small size in a completely unnecessary way. And guess what? Wood is not the only thing we like to cut up. Cardboard. Now, for most people, you know, if you peel this piece of tape off, fold this box down, that's going to be sufficient. But for me, no, I've just got to cut it up into a million pieces. Sometimes I've got to double it or triple it or quadruple it and then cut it. And I'm sure our recycling guy wonders why on earth ours is the only household that puts the cardboard out to the curb in strips, you know, 1 or 2 inches thick rather than just fold it down. So cutting stuff up, especially wood and cardboard, when there's absolutely no reason to do it. Okay, number 4, that was number 3. Number 4, cleaning, packing, preparing gear. Okay, making sure that your batteries are all charged up for your flashlights, making sure that your gun is oiled and lubricated and all the magazines are full, making sure that your bag is packed with all the stuff that you want to keep in it. You know, I recently realized, actually just this morning, I realized that I took a multi-tool out of my pack, used it and didn't put it back in, so it's sitting at home, and that's not cool. I've got to make sure that gets back to the spot where I want it to be in. So cleaning, packing, preparing gear, getting it ready, having multiple multiple locations. I know that in my car I have pretty much a full complement of anything I might need. In my EDC bag I have another full complement of pretty much most of what I might need. On my person I have again a pretty full complement of everything that I might need. In the house, in a bag, in the bag I regularly take camping. So a number of different locations. I've got a pretty well set up sort of kit with most of the stuff that I would want or need in a bad situation. So getting all of that ready takes a bit of time, and that's definitely an activity that those of us who are really into gear are gonna spend some time on. Finally, how about this? Using a flashlight. I love a good flashlight. It's so cool, especially, you know, this is the S2 Baton, but I have a few others, and it's really cool, I think, to be able to use or to see the performance that can come out of a little light like this. And so if I get up in the middle of the night to get a drink of milk, I'll grab the flashlight off my dresser. Even though I'm gonna walk past at least 6 light switches between my room and the fridge, I'm not gonna turn any of them on because I'm using my flashlight. And the more into flashlights you are, the more often you need to do it. You know, I take the dog out back to run around right before bed so that he doesn't have to wake up in the middle of the night and need to go outside, because I don't wanna be woken up. And we do have an outside light, but I leave the outside light off and use my flashlight, okay? Especially if I've got a new one or I've got a couple that I wanna like compare. Using a flashlight when there's no earthly reason to do so because there's a light switch right there, that is definitely a Gear Geek habit. Now, one other thing that I'm going to add to that is I have a Streamlight is the company that my fire hall went with for our helmet lights, and a lot of times I'll turn on my helmet light and think, you know, I have better lights than this at home that I should be bringing and using on some of these outdoor training or nighttime training scenarios that we have. So let me add one more bonus activity for Gear Geeks, and if you're watching this, you're probably guilty. I sure know that I am, and that is watching YouTube videos. Now, of all the activities that I mentioned, this one, of course, is the best, and I hope that you're watching this video, and I hope that you're going to comment on it, like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure that everyone else you know does as well. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Again, in the comments below, please, I want you to share with me some of the crazy things that you do that your neighbors must think, this guy is crazy. Finally, I have one last little bit. If you're still sticking around watching, there's going to be a little bit of a reward for that. This is the time of year, at least in Canada, where it's time to get a flu shot. And so, in the name of flu shot season, I want to give away this Kershaw injection. Okay, great little knife, really, really well done. I did have it in my for sale video and no one bought it. So since it's not really that expensive and it's not going to help me too much in getting a couple things that I'm trying to get my hands on right now, let's go ahead and give this away. Now, I don't want to give it, I don't want everyone to know. If you didn't watch this long, you're not going to know. What you have to comment below is something about getting your flu shot, okay? So it's flu shot season. Mention something about getting your flu shot, taking your kids to get their flu shots, whatever, in the comments below, and I will pick of those comments someone to, what I'll do is just give them numbers and get a random number generator, and someone who comments along those lines will get this Kershaw injection. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and we will talk to you soon. Where is the remote? There we go. Talk to you later, guys.